Hey, it's JC1424 once again with another album review, and today we're going to be talking about the sixth studio album from Linkin Park, and that was The Hunting Party, released on June 9th, 2014, around the same time frame as this album from Rise Against. They wound up touring with Linkin Park for the Hunting Party tour that year, and oh boy, if I was not fangirling at the age of 16. And I really wish I could have gone to one of those shows. Those are some cherishable memories right there. And it's my two favorite bands of all time back when I was in high school. But let's not ramble on too much. Let's get right into this review with track 1, which is Keys to the Kingdom, where we are instantly introduced to a transmission of overly distorted vocals of ferocity from Chester Bennington. There's a clear, crisp punk guitar tone, and it eventually is layered by an intense closing solo. Man, this song has everything from sweet harmonies to intimidating bars from Mike Shinoda to Mr. Hahn working some DJ hypnosis. You come out of that first chorus and go into the second verse, and in between that, they have a little transition. There's some really cool sound effects, I don't know. And then it stays beneath a verse, and oh my god, it is just mesmerizing, the stuff they put together to start this album. And the purpose here is a combination of self-inflicted political unrest, along with them addressing some of the whining about how they don't sound like Hybrid Theory anymore, I guess. Which, for what it's worth, if you want them to sound like Hybrid Theory, you could just listen to Hybrid Theory.
Just to sell ourselves for this, the path we least visit.
And then the second song on this album is All for Nothing, featuring Paige Hamilton. This one vaguely processes stages and perspectives of manipulation. It's a slow-paced jam with a kick to it, and a guitar solo that pretty much mimics the chorus. But for what it's worth, it does that gorgeously. Now, Paige, he takes over the chorus almost entirely, removing some identity from the song for Linkin Park, but their thought process was, oh, this sounds like Helmet. Let's get the guy from Helmet to sing the chorus, make it sound even more like Helmet, and less like Linkin Park. Not to say that it's not a good song, it's a pretty good song. But Chester and the others, they take a back seat for their vocals, and they're mixed like shit, so that's unfortunate.
You're waiting for a purpose, I already got mine. While you tell me step to it like 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I do what you demand, you say you'll let me understand. You say you're gonna hold me to your word.
And then you've got the lead single, track 3, Guilty All the Same, featuring Rakim. This is one of Mike Shinoda's idols from when he was younger. And they call this guy in to rap over what is a sick cadence, I might add. And with the material being so relatable, he was just absolutely interested in doing it. And it's about this common hypocrisy and drama that they always find themselves in between both the label and the fans, which doesn't even make any sense. Because as far as the fans are concerned, if they don't sound like this, or this, which is pandering, well then they're just selling out. Because they're just doing whatever is going to make them the most money to please the record label. They couldn't possibly be doing whatever it is they want to do by not hiring a producer from the record label. Instead, it's just Mike and Brad, the guitarist, producing it. That has its drawbacks. I will say, there's some shit that does not sound right on this album. But likewise, this song is referred to as the heavy shit in an Easter egg that comes right after the previous song, All for Nothing. Rob Borden broke his fucking back drumming for this album, and it shows, especially here. And Brad Delson, on the other hand, he practically blended this raw punk tone they already had on the album into this metal masterpiece worth of guitar work.
Gotta force me to straight obey. Got the call to stay around real cool, real big. You feel me? Yeah, real see. That green could be the brain. Greedy for the fame. Timmy or a man. Painting for the game. To be a whole say you're guilty. 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 You're guilty all the same. You seem to be ashamed.
Track 4, The Summoning, was considered a palate cleanser by Mike Somewhere, and it's an ominous and cool sampling of the previous song. And then there's just this wholesome clip of youth baseball. I guess they're one of their kids. Track 5, though, War, could not be more straightforward. all is fair in the relentless nature of war. It is similar to Keys to the Kingdom, although beforehand most of their approach was primarily on the guitar, drums, and Chester's visceral voice. The structure of this song is more classical for punk, kind of like how you would get from Black Flag or Anti-Flag, or even Power Man 5000 used to sound like this. Track 6, Wastelands. This song is definitely a close second favorite for me. It's anthemic, but has a tribal dance rhythm to it, and it reminds me of a song from 1,000 Suns called When They Come For Me, but it has a Rage Against the Machine type guitar riff, if you know what I'm saying. The bridge, on the other hand, is effective in expressing doom with the way its guitar chords come out. Then there's this beautiful layer of grief that just comes through the organ effects.
Take it how you take it, I'm the opposite of vacancy, and this is not negotiation. I can hate and wait and see. In the wastelands of today, where there's nothing left to lose, and there's nothing more to take, she forced yourself to choose.
Although track 7, Until It's Gone, was a single, and probably the most popular song on the album for a while, it is somewhat underwhelming for me. Maybe it's just the redundancy in the lyrics and then a poor mix of vocals that we get here and there on the album. But it is true. You don't know how much you love someone or something until you feel the entire impact of losing it all. It's like being in this vegetative state of normality and then not being able to have that and the effect it has on you. That's how you know how much it meant. Then there's the choice of electronics in the mix that are wonderful, and the guitar chords do sound nice.
I've heard it said 1,000 times, but now I know that you don't know what you've got. Oh, you don't know what you've got. No, you don't know what you've got until it's gone.
And on to track 8, Rebellion, featuring Darren Malakian of System of a Down. This song has 2 guitarists. One leads, while the other does some whimsical things. That's all I can really say. The drums have been spectacular all album, but they carry the suspense with some lengthy fills here. And the verses are spoken in melody rather than rapping or singing. And it just comes off more direct and to the point of expressing empathy, that they are privileged but humbled to stand in a position of representation, if anything. And a lot of us could probably relate to that with what's going on in other parts of the world. Okay, here we go. Track 9, Mark the Graves, is a punk/metal interlude with singing in it. That still makes it a song, I suppose. I don't know, you tell me. But it has a melodic callback to 1,000 Suns with their song Blackout, if you've heard that one. And this one dwells on the concept of experiencing so much loss that it all just culminates into a feeling you cannot even mark or label. And then we go into track 10, Drawbar, featuring Tom Morello. And I feel bad. They called him in for so little work. This transition was already a sad and beautiful ensemble of piano and drums. Oh, and then Tom Morello's there. I don't know.
And the blood may wash away, the scars will never fade. At least I know somehow I made a mark in that dark,
And then track 11, another one of the singles, Final Masquerade, is the straw that breaks the camel's back in a relationship. The last broken promise, the last moment of deception, and you can almost see it coming. It turns a simple cadence into something sonically enticing with huge freaking chords. There's musical effects that are resembling wind that fill the spaces between everything as well, and it's kind of cinematic. Also, the vocals, they resonate so much better here than they did on track 7, Until It's Gone.
You said it was forever, but then it slipped away. Standing at the end of the final masquerade. The final masquerade.
Track 12, A Line in the Sand, is the 10th and final song on this album, and it feels like modern society in a sense, where mere neighbors are so divided that it becomes a topical civil war. It's my favorite song on the album for having this evolving variety of guitar tones start to finish. Rob Burton blows his fucking load, joining in on a breakdown and the outro for that matter. And then you have Chester's garage tier performance that just gets drowned out again in this suspenseful and cinematic tug of war style grand finale. You could feel it in the rhythm. My final score for Linkin Park's 6th studio album, The Hunting Party, released on June 9th, 2014, is a 96%, which is a solid A. I wouldn't give it an A+ because Chester's voice is either drowned out or just poorly utilized. Like, they didn't get the best take they possibly could have. He also wasn't part of the recording process for this album until almost everything else was done, because he was doing things for Stone Temple Pilots after Scott Weiland had passed away, unfortunately. And most of the time, it doesn't even matter that it sounds like this, because the music kicks so much fucking ass. And it's kind of a trope of like that garage punk music where things are just imbalanced and it feels raw. But let me know your opinions on this album in the comments below, and your favorite songs on it. See you next time. That's that. And album review over.
Today